Hi, family. Namaste. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Love to all, wherever you are, whatever you're doing on this fine Wednesday morning. So, what have I got to share today, this evening, this morning? I think, as usual. So, I'm going to start with a bit of a random one. And it's just because basically, about a year ago, was it a year ago? I think it was about a year ago. I saw an advert on TV, and there was this kid who needed I think it was like a blood donation, stem cells. So I saw the charity and I wrote off to get a testing kit to join the stem cell donor list. So I did that. I don't know why this has even come into my head today, but it has. Because there's a massive organ donor. There's a lack of organ donors, basically. And what that then means is that there is a black market for organ donation. And I don't understand why everyone's funny about giving up their organs when they die. I told you this was going to be a weird one. But why is that? Why would we rather bury, and this is going to upset some people, because there's different religions and they believe in different things to do with their bodies when they're dead, and that's perfectly right, and that's your right to decide. But for everybody else, why is there this weirdness around this? Because why would we rather bury our dead to rot, essentially, in a box and be eaten by insects? That's what happens, right? Because you can have a grave. You can have a gravestone and a space to remember or mourn or whatever, regardless of whether there's an actual body under there. Why do we do that? Rather than be an organ donor. Because if everyone was signed up to be an organ donor, then there wouldn't be a black market for organ donors. There wouldn't be that black market. There just wouldn't, because there'd be enough organs. I know this is a weird conversation, but it needs to be had, doesn't it? And it makes no sense to me, anyway. And this is only because my mum, actually, as I mentioned before, she's donating her body to science. So she's donating her body, actually, to a place where they let the body rot outside. It's so that to advance like CSI. So they people who donate their bodies to this will let their bodies go into different places and what, so that criminal science, investigation can advance. So they can study the rotting body to see at what stage different insects arrive and invade that and eat the body and whatever. That's her choice. That's what she's donating it to. And it just made me think, well, why do we do that? Why are we so obsessed with burying a body that? And I've looked into this. I'll put the stats in. I mean, obviously, the years of abuse this thing here, this vessel has seen, may not be no good to someone or many people, but some of it will be. Some of it will be. And I looked it up. Any one body can save 8 lives and heal up to 100 others. What a legacy that would be. Rather than burying it to essentially what? Because the body is not the person, is it? The spirit is the person, right? The soul is the person. So why do we need that? You can have a space, you can have a grave, you can still mourn in the same spot. It just seems odd that so many people are really against organ, or maybe they're just not aware, I don't know. But when you know that you could sign a donor card and sign up to that, and that should anything happen, regardless of what you think of yourself, regardless of whatever you think, you could save 8 lives with organs and then heal up to 100 others with tissue and various other donations just from your body. That's a legacy, isn't it? Just from you. I think that's amazing. I didn't know that fact until today. So, and there's a shortage of organs, which is why there is a black market for organs. So if everyone was at least think about it and sign up to it if you think that saving 8 others and potentially healing 100 others on top of that is worth it, which is a personal choice, obviously, but imagine that. Imagine how many lives people could save just from making that one change. And there's the stem cell as well, so you can sign up to there's a charity, and I'll put the link in, and they basically send you a little kit, and it's like a big Q-tip basically, and you just do it around your mouth and you send it off, and then they've got your thing on their register, and it means that if somebody needs a stem cell, they can check the register, and if you match, you can save their life as well. So I don't know why that popped into my head today, but it did, and I thought I'd share, because it seems an appropriate time to do so. Look at this madness going on. We We could be saving lives. We could be saving lives. Even if you made no other changes, you could save life just from that. Signing up to organ donation. You could save 118 lives essentially. Regardless of what you think of yourself or whatever damage you've done to yourself, you don't know, do you? Think of all the lives you could impact. So that was that. Then I did this search because I love poetry. And I did a search on strength. Just like, strength poems. And this is the first one that came up. And it is by Maya Angelou. It's called Still I Rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hope springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, because I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts from my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. I'm going to put the link into that poem because I think everyone should be hearing that right about now. Yay! So, I've got loads. Almost too much. As usual. So there's a thing that they're talking about. Oh, where am I going to start with this? I think I need to go. No, this is where I'm going to start. We were born with free will, and these huge biological computers, and the freedom of choice, the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, and what a beautiful thing that is. And it's really important because there's people trying to, they're calling it cancel culture, okay? And everyone's just got too PC. Everyone's got way too PC. Everyone's got way too easily offended. We have to firstly know ourselves, be able to admit, at least to ourselves, our wrongs, our faults, and be able to laugh at them as well. We have to be able to laugh at them. We have to be able to laugh at ourselves. We have to. No matter what. And people just take things way too personally. And there's a massive difference between like freedom of speech and a joke than there is a hate crime. There's a massive difference. You know the difference. But you should know the difference. And if you don't, I'm going to put in what a hate crime is. And a hate crime is, there's the five, sex, sexual orientation, religion, race, and ability. Yeah. Hate crimes are much more are completely different to like comedians making a joke. The thing is, people are being just censored all the time. They feel like can't say anything about anything anymore. It's like, come on, individually, we all need to be able to take a joke. We need to be able to take a joke. Need to be able to take a joke. Not everything is. We're just gonna end up creating a generation of people that are just total pussies. And everything offends everyone. It's just going to be ridiculous. And there is a difference. That's the thing. The people need to understand that there is a difference. Comedians should be able to speak their mind just as much as anyone else, and know that there is a difference between that and a hate crime. They're making a joke. They're not So I'm going to put some stuff in about this because it's important, because this is all going on. And again, this goes back to there's a lot in at the moment with there are certain people in America, and this is just what, listen, if I basically, I'm in a point where if I ask a question, it is immediately answered. When I say that, I ask a question in my mind to myself, and then I'll flick a channel, and then on that channel will be what I'm thinking about. Or I'll look on my phone, and there'll be a news alert that'll be to do with whatever I've thought about. Or I'll check my email, same thing. Or I'll go onto a website, same thing. Can't explain that. That is just my experience of what is life right now for me. I'm not going to attach it to anything other than I believe that I am connected to something higher, which I'm not going to define. I can't define. I don't know. But I am definitely connected to something, because there is no other explanation for thinking something and immediately getting an answer to what I'm thinking in my head. And it doesn't matter what source I flick to, the answer to whatever I'm thinking of is on that immediately. That's the best way I can describe it. And I'm not going to connect that to anything other than that's my connection to something higher than myself. And I've been seeing today is that there are certain people that are freaking out on the Trump side of things. Now they're freaking out. And they're freaking out because and don't get me wrong, there's baddies on both sides of this aisle. There are baddies on both sides of this aisle. But Trump is not Republican. Trump is Trump. Let's just separate him and not tarnish everybody with the same brush, because they are not. They are. And just like there are baddies on this side, on the Democrat side, that they're not all one and the same. You can't bundle them all together and be like, oh, the Democratic Party is evil. No, there's certain people in it that are bad actors with bad intentions, just like on the Republican side. The Republicans aren't all Trump and vice versa. And they're not one and the same. You can't tarnish everybody with the same brush. You can't. It's completely illogical. But there are people on the Republican side that are freaking out right now because Biden has had an excellent first 100 days, aside from the fact of the warmongering, which is a problem. The sanctions is a problem. The warmongering is a problem. There's loads of problems, but there's many things that he's done well. But on this side here, it's like people are not paying any attention to the facts, to the straight facts. I don't know how he's managed to whip up this storm of hatred and superiority over everyone else. And particularly when there's lots of, there's all the evidence. They've already done all these recounts 3 times already, but they're going in for a 4th, just, because, I mean, if this one comes out as negative as well, they're going to try for another one. It's like, it will never end. It will never end, because they're so entrenched in that view that it doesn't matter how many times, how many people from how many different places tell them that it wasn't wrong and that it wasn't an illegal count. They're still going to say that it is. And that is a problem. That is a straight problem. And that is a cult where you're so vehemently entrenched in one view that no matter what anyone else tells you, no matter the truth, no matter the facts, you refuse to believe it. That is a cult. That ain't anything else but. So earlier on, I had a link come through, and Republicans, according to this article, I'm just going to try and bring it up now, like to use this. Oh no, what was it? Hold on. This was a pastor. How do you say it? Over there. And he was telling, this is a Trump fan, evangelist, telling his congregation to terrify. He used the word terrify the Democratic Party, Democratic leaders, Democratic voters. This is somebody who says that they are a religious person who refuses to accept the evidence that has been before the entire nation, and he's going as far as to tell his congregation to terrify the Democratic Party and the leaders and the anyone that's a Democrat. What kind of nonsense is this? What kind of nonsense is this? It's absurd. These aren't good. You've got to be aware of these people here. If you have any concept of spirituality, and this is where organized religion it comes a cropper in terms of Christian denominations. It's because they think they're superior. They think they're superior to everybody else. I hate to say it, but it's true. Because other religions don't do that. Not to the same extreme. And this telling your congregation to actively go out and terrify, this is politics. Are you out of your mind? Like, what truly godly spiritual person would do that? They wouldn't. It is absurd. Yeah, having true, because there's obviously people that choose not to have faith, RESPECTTU. It's everyone's individual choice. It's about choice, options. Everyone's entitled to them. Everyone has them, including independent thought. But you cannot kind of commit yourself to one section of history and theology and refuse to look or read or accept or try and understand anything else that surrounds it before and after. That is cray. Straight. I believe in God, but my spirituality is my personal relationship with. Don't expect anyone else to understand it. You can mock me for it. I couldn't give a shit because it's mine. Mine. And that's it. No one else is interfering with my beliefs. I'm not following someone else. This is my beliefs based on my own research, my own discernment of what all that is, and that's my choice. I'm not following a church. I'm not following a specific person. I'm not following any one book. I am listening to all teachings and taking the messages from all. Because I think that all religions, whatever anyone else thinks, I think that they all deserve respect because so many people believe in them. And I respect people who have faith. I respect people who have faith in something higher than themselves that they cannot see, that they cannot explain, but they believe it anyway. I fucking respect people like that. And I respect people who who choose not to have a faith. And I understand the reason for that. That's their choice. Because it's about options, it's about choice, it's about individual independent thought. But you can only decide when you're looking at everything you've got, when you're looking at the history of evidence that exists, and you make that decision, RESPECT, to whatever that decision is. But you can't just kind of stick yourself in one corner and not look at anything else, or refuse to see anyone else's point of view, and just only go, no, this is it. I only believe this. I'm not looking anywhere else. I don't believe anyone else. I hate everyone else. From anything, anyone that disagrees with me, I hate it. I am this. Without even looking or trying to understand the history of before and after. And appreciating that other people have different points of view for their reasons. And then try to force that opinion on everyone else. And it's kind of anyone who doesn't follow our way, who doesn't follow our rules, is a wrong one. No, mate. Yeah, we're all different. And that is what makes us beautiful. We all come from, we all come from different walks of life. We all have different experiences. People who have had the hardest lives, yeah, they're probably the most spiritual. Because they've been to hell and back. They know. They know. These puritanical, ultra conservatives that ain't experienced nothing do not know. They ain't been to hell and back. They don't know what salvation is. They don't know what rising is from the darkness to the light. They just think they're in it. They think they are it. And they try and preach it to everybody else without having seen the other side. And then they try and say, oh, women shouldn't wear this. Women shouldn't work. Women shouldn't do this. All of this nonsense. I can't take people seriously. You ain't seen it. You ain't done it. You ain't been there. You ain't. Yeah, you might not like the way that people are like, for me, it's like people are going to take offense to how I speak. I don't care. I'm not trying to offend you. It's just the way that I speak. People take offense to how I look. I don't care. If I want to, as I said to you before, if I want to walk around, with my boobs out and in stilettos, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Why? Because I can. And I want to. It's my choice. It's my body. I really couldn't give a shit if that offends you. I wouldn't do it around anyone, like, inappropriately, you know what I mean? But if I wanted to walk around, I've danced around in my garden butt naked just because, fuck it. Fuck it. Who wants, experienced life, innit? I'm not offending anyone. I'm in my own private garden. But certain people will look down. Oh, can't do that. Why? I live in the middle of nowhere. No one else can see it. If I want to run around butt naked in my garden, I can. So everyone is just too politically correct. It's too trying to force a certain group's vision of what they think, according to their group, is right and normal. And there is no such thing as normal. There is no such thing as normal. And trying to constantly force ourselves into this vision of what they tell us is normal is what is making people have mental health issues. Because not even the people that say that created this definition of normal are normal. Even they aren't. It's a joke. It's an illusion. It's not a thing of normal. Nobody is normal, and it's great. God, it would be boring if everyone was normal. Be authentically yourself. Warts and all. Own that. Yeah? The differences of each and every person is what makes It's what makes us great. It's what makes the world. It's what makes it interesting. It's what makes it exciting. It's like, we're all different, and that is great. Our eccentricities and little quirkiness is what is exciting. It's interesting. It's nice to find out what is different. It's not have to all be that way. Although they'd like that. They'd like everyone to be sat and prim and proper and at home and not swear and not do this and not do that and da. Fuck off. Fuck off. Yeah. Just totally bore off with that. The other thing I was going to say is and this goes on to, so this is something that's happening just at the moment. So the company is called, let me find it, Iterable. Okay. So I'm going to go several ways on this. So the CEO was called Justin, I think it's pronounced Zhu. Now, Justin, I love you. Got you back. This is a guy and a company so the company's Iterable. He's got a partner, two of them. They're tech guys. And they've built this company. It's their life's work. And they went out and got investment from an investment company. Now, they've had several rounds of investment. I think the most recent is Viking Group. Now, this guy, Justin Zhu, young guy, he's spent his, as I say, it's his life's work. He's spent his entire life, building up to this point, building this company. Like, he is a legend. He was fired. So he's the CEO of his business, but because they obviously have an investment company backing them, he was fired from his own position as CEO for microdosing LSD. Okay. And they used it as an excuse, and they said it was because it went against their policy. Right. First and foremost, it's Justin, let me tell you, it says nothing about you, love. I think you are a legend. Also, this is a trend that is in Silicon Valley, this microdosing. There's evidence of that. Also, there is nothing wrong with psychedelics. And there is scientific research to prove this. To prove that psychedelics actually improve mood, focus, and various other things. I've got the research for that as well. So here's the thing. This proves capitalism is just the death of society. Because this investment company, they give a shit. They clearly don't actually give a shit about this guy, Justin. Because if it was over one microdose of LSD, one. And rather than ask him if he's okay and try and help him, bearing in mind they've made millions off this company, and Justin and his partner have grown this from nothing to 500 odd staff or whatever it is, and being a huge company, and the commitment and sacrifice that it takes to be a CEO of a company of that, like that. And they didn't ask him if he was okay. They didn't do anything else. They just straight fired him. And then fired him over something that actually is scientifically proven to improve mood, improve focus. So really, what are they firing it over? Firing him from his life's work. So it doesn't say anything about Justin. It says everything about the investment company and how they actually don't give a shit about any of the people that they invest in. They really do not give a shit. So I'm going to put the research into psychedelics, because LSD isn't the only one. There's various others, and this is all part of the whole drugs conversation we've had many a time, and how drugs have been demonized as a means to sell pharmaceuticals, when there are all these drugs that could easily just be regulated, but they won't be, or haven't been until now, because people are making more money from it being sold illegally. In terms of the channel and the various groups and the people in positions of power that are the ones that are actually making money. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. There are liars all over the show. And Justin has had his life's worth taken over him over a microdose of something that's scientifically proven to do what he said he was taking it for in the first place. And nobody even checked to see if he was all right after dedicating his life to building this business that is making millions and millions of dollars for this investment company. Jokers. Viking Investments. Disgusting. Shame on you. Shame on you. But their company is great. And this also goes further to say about techie guys and tech CEOs and all of that there. Silicon Valley. They don't get enough appreciation whatsoever for the work that they do. Bearing in mind, we live in a digital world. Everything is based on technology. Everything that they are creating is saving lives. It is improving, generally speaking, it's improving life as we know it, or at least attempting to. And think of this sheer number of techies and engineers and designers and CEOs that are quietly working away 24/7, sleeping on floors, sleeping in their offices. No one ever hears about. Millions of them. And they are the ones that make the world go round. They get no thanks. They don't get no fame other than within their own circles. But everything relies on what they create. So God bless, well, you know what I mean. Not God bless, but I'd be saying that. But I just think they're amazing, and they don't get enough appreciation whatsoever. And nobody cares enough to see if they're okay. And that is just proof of it there. They strive because they enjoy creating stuff. They enjoy creating better things for people. They enjoy doing it. They enjoy designing it. They enjoy building things. Constantly trying to be better. And they don't get no thanks for it. And yeah, as I said, I think they're amazing. I think each and every one of the people that work in technology, yeah, there is problems with certain people having too much power and stuff, but all of the new and upcoming, all of these people that are working to independents that are trying to start something, trying to create something, trying to improve something, trying to design something, trying to make life better, make life easier, to create all the technology that improves the planet, improves energy. They are the ones. Make no mistake about it. And they deserve medals for the hours and the hard work and no thanks that they get. So, big love to you guys and girls. God, I went on a little rant then, didn't I? Went off. Oh, what? No, because I'm passionate about it. I feel everyone just takes it for granted. And they don't realise how hard these people work and how much they sacrifice and how long they work. So I get it. I've got a really interesting video on, and this is actually, again, all this is relevant and important for now. And this is from Oxford Economic Society, which I've now subscribed to. Obviously, you're going to be watching all of those lectures. And it's called Super Imperialism. And this is really important in terms of understanding what's going on now. So there's a lecture, and the guy is called, I forget his name. Apologies. Oh, Michael Hudson, American professor of economics, guys and girls, speaking at an Oxford Economic Society YouTube thing. It's an hour, but boy, will it open your eyes to what is going on and what has gone on, and which is the reason we are in this mess. And it talks about how the economics has changed from World War I, World War II to now, and in terms of globally, and a lot of it, unfortunately, is comes back to the old US there, and the gold standard and the dollar being the reserve dollar, and how they basically have manipulated it over time. I did not know this. I thought it was the UK. I thought it was all the monarchy. I mean, they're responsible for a shit ton, don't get me wrong. But there's guilty parties all over the bob. So, and I've also got another really good one, which is an interview with another guy about the Clintons and how corrupt they are. So, and remember, don't tarnish everybody with the same brush. The Clintons are the Clintons, and the Democratic Party is the Democratic Party, and the one and the two are not the same. And there's also another article, which I've got loads more. There's an article, and it talks about how the Republicans like to go, oh yeah, but Democrats started the Ku Klux Klan. Listen, educate yourselves. Don't listen to that nonsense. The KKK was started by a couple of people who happen to be Democrats, but it was not started by the Democratic Party. Make no mistake, there is a massive difference. And people who subsequently joined were actually Republicans. So see how people like to spin certain stories because it suits their narrative, but they're actually not using the facts. and people won't check, so they just go, oh yes, believe. So I'm going to put all the links into these because there's some nonsense going on right now. If you've got a preacher and an evangelist who's mesmerized and clearly under some kind of Trump control, telling his congregation to go and terrorize Democrats and Democratic leaders, I would ask what God he was serving, if he was serving one at all. So that is all for this evening. I'll put all the links in as usual. Do take a look. Don't have to believe me. Look for yourself. Everything is a choice. Everything is independent thought. We were all born with these huge, big brains, biological computers. These are the things that are creating all the things. Thoughts turn into things, don't they? So we should treat these with a bit more respect and actually listen to ourselves and the evidence rather than just one voice, whichever way you look at it. Should always be seeking to learn more from all voices, from all religions, from all countries, from all parts of history. Why would you only stop at one? So, love you. I will see you tomorrow for more, nonsense, ranting and raving. Sharing's caring. Let's never forget that. The Living Room Network spans far and wide, fam. And what a blessing that is. So, love you.